Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Music Den. I'm your host, Armando Venditti. Hoping you guys are having a good day. And again, that you're looking after yourselves and one another. We are back, ladies and gentlemen, for day 7 of our 31 perfect albums. I am joined by Bill Schuster. How's it going, Bill?
I am doing great, Armando. How you doing?
Oh, I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Mr. Ken Cheshire, how's it going, Ken?
Doing great, just trying to stay cool.
Same here, actually. Same here. It's quite warm here in Alberta, surprisingly so.
Yeah.
And finally, the one and only Mr. Jim Bricker. How you doing, Jim?
I'm doing great. And I'm going to say, Ken, with that shirt, you are cool. I'm going to leave it like that, man.
Well,
Well,
ladies
thank
and gentlemen, as I said, we are back with day 7 of our 31 perfect albums, and we're having fun, damn it. We're having a good time. So each one of us have picked a list of 31 perfect albums, perfect top to bottom, all killer, no filler. And we hope you enjoy these episodes that we're bringing to you. And again, we encourage you to put your comments down below in the comment section and give us your opinions on what it is you believe for you is a perfect album. Doesn't matter what decade, what genre. Anyway, to get the show started, sorry, it's one of those days, guys. I will pass the virtual mic over to Bill Schuster. How's it go off, Bill?
Right. Thank you, sir.
You can tell I'm
I'm
getting
probably going to leave the 60s, but not very far. I'm going to 1971.
yeah.
This is another one of those legendary albums. I don't think it's quite as big now as it was in its time. In the 70s, this was one of the greatest selling albums ever. It was a huge hit, and it helped really kickstart the singer-songwriter movement by someone who had been around and writing songs for many years beforehand. Of course, it's Tapestry by Carole King.
Okay.
Yeah, this album seems to have kind of been lost in the midst of time over the years. I never see it come up when people talk about the greatest albums. I understand 1971 was an amazing year with lots of albums, but this thing truly used to be huge. And half these songs were played on the radio forever. I feel the earth moves so far away, it's too late. Sometimes she rated her own past catalog here, such as Will You Love Me Tomorrow, which had previously been done by the Shirelles. And of course, James Taylor had a bigger hit doing a version of You've Got a Friend, but I still prefer Carol's version here. And Aretha Franklin had a hit with You Make Me Feel Like a Natural Woman, but again, that Carol's version imprinted on me. I mean, sure, you can say Aretha's a better vocalist, but it's Carol's song, and I just like her interpretation. So, I mean, pretty much every song on here, I prefer Carol's version over any other versions I've heard. Um, I noticed something here which I'd forgotten about. Ken and I were talking earlier about Gimme Shelter by the Rolling Stones and about Mary Clayton's amazing vocals on that. I forgot Mary Clayton does backup vocals on some of the songs on Tapestry as well.
Oh,
So that was a cool little tidbit. I
Interesting.
completely slipped my mind. Um, yeah, otherwise she has the usual assortment of studio pros. Danny Korchmar is all over this album. James Taylor actually appears on here more than once. This is just state of the art singer songwriter, easy listening pop rock 1971. I mean, it really is a masterpiece. And I think it needs to come up in conversation a lot more than it does nowadays. Maybe I'm just imagining that. I don't know. Do you
No,
guys ever really hear people talking about Tapestry anymore?
no, no, you're not
not so
imagining
much.
it.
but I agree with you, Bill. I mean, just the first three tracks on there, I feel the earth moves so far away, it's too late. I mean, those are all diamonds.
Yeah.
They're just perfectly perfect.
Yeah.
Maybe this will be stone in the pond. They'll start creating ripples, and Tapestry will make a big comeback now.
Yeah.
Make it
Maybe,
happen, people.
maybe, maybe.
There was I'm sure everyone's familiar with the book. I think it's 1971, the year that music changed forever.
Mhm.
and there was a documentary done on that as well. They
I
have
saw
a
that.
whole, yeah, they have a whole chapter dedicated to Tapestry and how influential it was. And yeah, it should not be forgotten. It's fantastic. Maybe it's just taken for granted these days, like you were saying. So
Yeah, I know. I saw
There
that
was a
documentary.
resurgence in the 90s in the popularity because one of the songs was used as the theme song for Gilmore Girls.
Okay.
You
So
ah,
remember which,
All right.
you remember which song it was, Ken?
I know what it is, but it's jumped out of my brain right now.
Just
I'll internet it after we get done
Yeah.
recording.
yeah, there we go. There we go. No, I saw that documentary that Jim was talking about, 1971, the year that changed music. Yeah, it's a good one. It's a good one. And she's mentioned in it, yeah.
yeah,
I think she should be talked about more in terms of a songwriter and
Yeah.
her contribution to pop culture and just
Yeah, it goes well beyond this one album.
oh yeah. Oh,
oh yeah, as a songwriter, that her early stuff
please.
from the Brill days, yeah.
Yeah, oh please. No
Yeah.
contest. No contest. All right, moving on to to Ken. How's it going for you for your
All
pick?
right. So I just turned 18 and beginning my senior year of high school. And Jim, don't jump out of your chair, but what does the date September 23rd, 1977 tell you?
It tells me get my ass to a record store.
That's right. We're talking Steely Dan and Asia.
And Jim said ass on the show.
That's right.
Yes, I did.
That's something, yeah. This album is a phenomenon. It's every song on it should be, in my opinion, on their greatest hits. So release a Steely Dan greatest hits, and this one is just going to be Asia. Um, I love this album. Um, what's another thing that's mind-boggling about it is just to look at the list of musicians they used on this album. Um, they didn't just get good studio musicians, they used jazz musicians that are stars unto themselves in their own solo careers.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say it again, the classic album documentary
Yep.
shed some wonderful light on this album. Um, a friend of mine gave it to me that December on cassette as a Christmas gift. They don't remember doing it, but I say a prayer for them every night, thanking them that they did that. Now, this isn't my first Steely Dan album. My first one was Pretzel Logic, which is nothing to sneeze at either. But as good as that is, to me, Asia just blows everything away. Another amazing thing is there is only 3 singles from this album: Peg, Deacon Blues, and Josie. But it's like in my brain, how can you leave out Black Cow and Home at Last and I Got the News? Um, Not to mention the title track, 8 minutes of perfection. And I think Rick Beato's talked about and interviewed musicians from this album
Yeah.
and talked about it a
Yep.
lot. That's incredible. Um, it was a long time before I realized that Michael Lamardian plays on this, and I had
Yeah.
known him from complete other genres, and it's very eye-opening. I've always been a Steve Gadd fan,
Mhm,
and
mhm.
And with this, you've got Steve Gadd and Wayne Shorter, at the same time on Asia and playing two completely different things, but it's just God given.
Mm-hmm.
And this is one ever since '77. I never tired of hearing anything off of it. It's almost like I hear something new every time I listen.
Yeah.
So yeah, and it reached chart wise, it reached number 3 in the US,
Yeah.
and it did win a Grammy for best engineered recording, non-classical. And so yeah, it took them a long time to make this. They would have different musicians come in and lay down guitar tracks, and they had this vast collection of different takes, and uh, even all the musicians never knew if their take was going to end up on the final release. And so yeah, of course this was at the time they had already stopped playing live, and a perfect example of when someone actually uses the recording studio as an instrument in itself. And you got Michael McDonald on vocals. You've got, like I said, Wayne Shorter. You got Steve Gadd. You got Larry Carlton. It's just a who's who of incredible artists, in addition to just incredibly creative songwriting too. So it's a favorite for a reason. There's a reason why this is held in such high regard, even though I think it has. Armando, is this the album that has one of your least favorite Steely Dan songs?
Well, yeah, out of all the Black Cow, yeah.
Yeah, Black Cow.
Yeah.
So, by
But
the
it's
way,
still a good song. I'm just
everyone watching this, go back and find Armando's and Jim's ranking top 15 Steely Dan video songs. It's great. It really is great.
thank you
And
for
that's
that.
my number 7.
That was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun, even though I caught crap for putting Black Cow as my honorable mention track. So yeah.
It was a surprise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. No, it's a good choice. It's the all I'm gonna say, because we talked about before. I just think that with that album, Black Cow included, Steely Dan hit their pinnacle with what they wanted to accomplish in the studio.
Yeah.
All right, Mr. Bricker.
How do you follow up Asia? I just feel like we should, hang up. But
Okay, have a good day,
I'm
everyone. No,
Hi everyone, it's been great.
no.
No, my seventh pick for 31 perfect albums, still staying in 1971, and it's an album that's already been brought up by two of us. So I'm gonna see if we can have a grand slam and we all mention this one. It's Who's Next from 71. Um, Not sure what else to add to this that hasn't been said um, in this series. I think the only thing that calls out special attention is this is where Roger Daltrey gets unleashed. Um, I mean, you certainly get senses of it on the previous album, which was live at Leeds. Um, but here I don't know what happened to him. I don't know if he found more confidence. I don't know if Pete just let him off of a leash. I don't know if it's just the passion of the material, but Roger Daltrey, basically becomes Roger Daltrey on this album. Just this vocal powerhouse that you don't know where this comes from and it seems like he'll be able to just go all day. It just seems effortless, whether it's just holding these, powerful, deep, resonating notes, or whether he's just screaming his bloody head off. I mean, you've got that all over this album, and it's just utterly fantastic. There's obviously, just given the definition of the series, there's not a bad track on here. There's, my favorite all-time Who song is on here, Bargain. And obviously, Baba O'Reilly, Behind Blue Eyes, and You Won't Get Fooled Again are no slouches either. But yeah, this is it's made three of our lists for a darn good reason. And it's, if you haven't checked it out, it is well worth taking the time to checking out, whether it's in its original 9-track form, or whether you want to go deep and do weightlifting and get the 10 disc with the book and the Blu-ray box set. Yeah. Who's next? 1971. Boom. My number 7.
It's a good choice.
And just one warning, Jim and I have already talked about this. If this is the version of Won't Get Fooled Again that you're used to, do not listen to the 45 RPM cut. Don't listen to it.
Sacrilege.
It's so butchered up, it's you might have a little heart murmur at least.
And that's the first version I remember hearing on the radio was the AM edit.
Yeah, no. Just before I give my selection, Jim, your audio is just a bit off, like you're a bit muffled in some spots. But
I'm not sure why.
you're
Is that any
fine
better?
now. You're fine now.
Okay.
You're fine now. No, perfect. I just no, I mean, I agree with what you said, Ken. It'd be like just to go back to Queen for a second, Elektra back in 77 or 78 released a single version of the song It's Late. Okay. Now, without the band's authorization. Okay. Now, for anyone out there who knows about It's Late from Queen, it's a 6-minute, 30-second, 30-plus track, 30-second plus track. Can you imagine editing that down to like 3 minutes and 30 seconds? Hell no. I mean, Brian May has gone on record as saying that as long as he's alive, that version of that song will never be issued at any reissues or box sets or anything of that nature, because they issued the track as a single without the band's permission. They cut it down and they said, "You guys just butchered Picasso." You know what I mean? Like it was too much editing, right? So taking Won't Get Fooled Again down to say like 4 minutes, forget it.
Yeah.
Hell
Yeah.
no. Hell no. Anyway,
Good point, Ken.
We must continue. We must continue, ladies and gentlemen. My pick for number 7 of 31 Perfect Albums, we're going to 1975. We are going to February 28th for the release of Welcome to My Nightmare by Alice Cooper. His first and only release for Atlantic Records, and I do believe it was Anchor Records in the UK that was released on. This was considered his debut solo release, produced by Bob Ezrin. At this point, Alice Cooper, the band, had folded. They basically suffered with the lack of success of Muscle of Love that came out in 74, and they wanted to go their own way. So Alice Cooper and Bob Ezrin came up with this concept for this character by the name of Stephen. And let's look at it this way quickly, guys. What would happen if you couldn't wake up from your nightmares? If every time you went to sleep at night, think about this. Every single time you went back to sleep, through, say, at night, you found it more difficult to wake up from your dreams or from your nightmares. So eventually, you couldn't. Right? It's a daunting thought, right? For me, I went on record as saying last year when I did a video about this that Welcome to My Nightmare 2 was better than part 1 because it was a more heavier walking album. I've reassessed my opinion on this album. I love the variety on it. You have the title track that's a bit of a jazzy kind of a feel to it. It said in the notes I read up on it that it had the title track has a more of a disco feel. I don't hear disco in this track, guys. I really don't. I don't know what the hell you were smoking when you wrote that, whoever wrote it, but this is not disco. It's heavy in spots, but Devil's Food. Next up is The Black Widow with, voice contributions from Vincent Price and heavy work, guitar work, sorry, from Dick Wagner. Bloody brilliant, just amazing. And it all segues together. The cabaret influenced or vaudeville influenced of some folks. The beautiful ballad Only Women Bleed. Side 2 starts off with the lead off single Department of Youth. Straightforward rock track. Cold Ethel, which is having sex with a corpse, let's be honest here. The man was demented with the character, okay? Stephen was a little bit demented, okay? Then it goes into the track Years Ago, and this is where the concept really comes into full force, where I'm counting 3/4 time, like waltz time with the track, right? And he's basically remembering things that happened to him years before and how he's trying to sort of make sense of what is happening to him in these dreams and why he's finding it difficult to wake up, right? And then it segues into Stephen, right? Again, it's getting more deep and more macabre, in terms of the imagery that they're coming up with. Then it goes into the awakening, which again follows the dream. And there's Bill. We lost Bill for a second there. And then it finishes with Escape. Okay. Top to
Which is
bottom.
what Bill did.
Exactly. I don't know where he went, but we'll continue, guys. For me, 11 tracks, top to bottom, it works. It works. I love the variety on it. And again, the concept of it. What if you couldn't wake up from your dreams? What then? Right? So that's my pick for day 7 of 31 perfect albums. You disappeared, Bill. What happened?
We must have had an internet blink. I'm not sure. That's
Okay.
Did you repeat everything you said about Welcome to My Nightmare?
It's a good album. Move on. It's all right.
It is a good album.
I just want to make sure that I heard you right, that they actually put out an album with the title Muscle of Love.
They did.
Song
Final
about
Tap.
wanting to get caught in the bathroom. Yes.
They did. And a little bit of a backstory. At that point, they started to work with Bob Ezrin, and the rest of the band were getting, for lack of a better word to use, or phrase, pissed off at what they viewed as Bob Ezrin's domination in the studio. There was a point where he went up to, I think it was Michael Bruce, and said, maybe we should do something a bit of change the arrangement on this part here for the guitar. And Bruce said, no, this is what we're going to do. This is how we rehearsed it, and we're not changing it. Full stop. And Ezrin said, okay, you know what? He said to Alice Cooper, he says, Alice, he says, I love working with you. I can't work with them anymore. They don't want to listen. I'm done. So I do believe they got in, and someone correct me out there, I do believe they got in Jack Richardson to finish the recording of the album because they were under a deadline to get it out. And it didn't do as well. So that was when they decided to go their own separate ways, which is a shame because who knows what they could have come up with.
Yeah.
At that point. So there you have it, guys. Day 7 of our 31 perfect albums. Again, please put your comments down there, down below. You know, no right or wrong answers. Again, just opinion. You're going to hear me say that throughout this series quite a bit, but it is what it is. So as I see on my screen now, Ken, Jim, and Bill, I'm Armando signing off. We'll see you soon with another episode. Please look after yourselves and one another, and have a fantastic day. All right. Bye for now.